Hello and welcome to 97.9 Unity Radio, the best sports talk show in all of Massachusetts, in all of Connecticut, in all of Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Rhode Island, Delaware, New York, New Jersey. It doesn't matter. We are the best, and this is Moneyline. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. With me, a very special guest. He's back. He is the butcher himself, Dominic Tripp, and he's here to talk some college football. Dominic, thank you for taking some time. I love the background. I love the Utica College, Utica University jersey. Ready to go. And there's a lot going on and a lot of chaos. And, you know, we need some semblance of calm and reality of is this going to get better or is this going to get worse? We've had a lot of questions and a lot of people are nervous about what's going on. But the big news of the week, LSU dumps Brian Kelly for $53 million, a $53 million buyout, a 5-3 record. He did go on a 3-game losing streak. However, he did lose to ranked football teams. Brian Kelly was never a perfect fit in LSU, starting from his fake Southern accent. Did you see this coming? And did you think that this was justified?
To start this season, no, I didn't see this coming. I thought LSU would probably have a pretty strong season, maybe 2 or 3 losses total. But like you said, Brian was never a good fit. And I don't think that he didn't fit LSU. He just didn't fit
not at all.
No. So.
And did you think, because everyone has been on Garrett Nussmeier and saying that he's really underperformed this year. He was one of the top quarterbacks going into this season, just like Arch Manning was, and clearly he's not. But do you think Garrett Nussmeier underperforming definitely played a part in LSU's downfall?
I've watched about 4 or 5 LSU games, and Garrett Nussmeier has been on his back and taken more shots than
he has. You're right.
A starting quarterback take on a routine basis in a long, long time. So you being yourself a former offensive lineman, I can relate to the fact that that line did not protect Garrett Nussmeier, who was supposed to be a Heisman candidate. And the guy got absolutely no protection. And LSU's offense has been a disaster all year, even in the games they've won. Florida and some of the other games where they scored 20 points. It's not Garrett Nussmeier's fault. I think that guy still has a potential career in the NFL.
Yeah. I was surprised by it too. And I was just on the phone with our friend Chris DeSitis, and he was telling me about the obviously the new era of college football where schools can pay players and then they can get NIL money on top of it. And at UConn, especially, they're having players from all teams do autograph signings, do appearances. They're paid a flat fee, $500 a week. Every athlete gets it. And the better ones obviously get more. Kelly always kind of complained that LSU wasn't spending like some of the rest of the teams. They definitely did this year. They missed on some offensive linemen, but to have the year that they've had was quite a shock. And then the athletic director goes in and tells him he has to fire the offensive coordinator. Brian Kelly, being Brian Kelly, obviously refuses. And that is the end of his job. Now, he's going to be 64 years old. He does want to coach again, and that definitely plays a part in the buyout. If he is able to get another job, it will reduce it. Do you think Brian Kelly is an attractive candidate anywhere? Do you think that he'll get picked up?
That's an interesting question. Brian Kelly seems to fit into that mold of the Nick Saban, Dabo Sweeney era. I think,
Yeah.
especially the way he addresses his players, the way he gets in their face, the way he screams at them. I liked playing for that type of coach. I think that time has passed.
It really has.
You know, I don't know. Maybe something a little bit smaller, maybe something a little bit outside, I'm not sure. I don't even know. I was going to say Penn State, and they're not a small program.
That's actually been brought up.
But I think that's a better fit.
State.
I think that's a better fit. I'm not saying they're a smaller program than LSU, but I think the Northeast is a more Northeast.
He's a Boston guy. I mean, he was at New Hampshire. He was at Grand Valley State before he ever moved up.
I mean, you look at his overall winning. I mean, the guy's he's won everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
It's just LSU is not a good fit.
No, I thought it was a bad fit, and I think Notre Dame is laughing all the way to the bank because LSU gave him a 10-year contract. He didn't even make it through his fourth year. But this goes back to the larger discussion that I talked with Frank about, and coaches, they're going through some difficult times. They lose a couple games. We saw it with James Franklin. Obviously, losing to Northwestern in UCLA was embarrassing. The Oregon loss in double overtime was embarrassing. But a 3-game losing streak, he's out. LSU, 3-game losing streak, he's out. These coaches, and I don't know if it's because of the money that's being spent on the players, the era of the transfer portal, but it really seems like, and we've seen it with Belichick, he hasn't won. It seems like athletic directors, these school presidents are putting coaches on a short leash, and they're willing to throw the millions of dollars to get rid of them. And is that going to be the new era of college football? You got to produce now, and you're 1 3-game losing streak away from possibly losing your job?
I don't think that's what head coaches, I don't think that's what athletic directors, I don't think that's what anybody internally in any football or major college sports program wants to have happen. However, in the era that we're in now, I think the boosters have a lot of control. The guys who are the guys who are paying the millions of dollars in NIL money, the guys that are coming up with the money for the buyouts, and the guys that are coming up with the money for these huge contracts for these coaches, they want to have some kind of a say. And I think that we're seeing here now in the last couple of years is they're really pushing to have more of a say. They're the one ponying up the money. And they're not going to pony up. They're going over and they're flexing their muscles and saying, listen, this guy's got to go or you're not going to see my $10 million a year anymore. I think we're looking at some of that.
We have a question. It's got to be from somebody we know. They would like to know your thoughts on Florida firing their coach, and if their quarterback, DJ, whatever his last name is he as good as advertised, or is he overrated? And do you think that Florida needed to make that change?
First of all, I think that Billy Napier did a lot of good things at the University of Florida. Over the course of his tenure, they brought their facilities into being close to the top tier of the SEC. They have fallen way behind. They have a very talented roster right now. Billy had to get fired because Billy did a few things that were just unexcusable.
Yeah.
I'm not play calling, clock management, discipline, like players just getting unexcusable penalties in the biggest moments of the game, losing the game. It's happened every single year. Clock mismanagement, bad play calling, and players having no discipline in the biggest moments. So, in my opinion,
that's coaching.
That's coaching. It is. Special teams not having enough guys on the field numerous times on special teams. I mean, this happened over and over again throughout his tenure. But he did do several things well, and I think he's left the program in the best position that they've been in after firing a coach in a long time. They've been through Muschamp, they've been through McElwain, they've been through Dan
Mullen.
And so DJ Lagway, jury's out. I thought he was going to be a bona fide superstar after the way he played as a true freshman. He regressed. And is that
significantly?
Coaching? Is that coaching, confidence? He's got tools around him. He's got a great running back, and he's got an awesome receiver room. I'm going to be very, very interested to see what happens this week against Georgia, because I think Florida has the cats to go up against the dogs head to head.
They do.
If DJ Lagway plays with the ability that he's capable of playing,
absolutely,
and they spread the ball out, not only do they have a chance to beat Georgia, or I was going to say cover the spread, they have a chance to beat Georgia flat out, I think.
We also have a question from a friend of yours, Mr. Superintendent Joe DePeace. He would like to know your opinion of Arch Manning at Texas. And does Texas have a realistic chance to make the playoffs?
I think we're going to find out this weekend, because Vanderbilt is for real. Diego Pavio is for real. Clark Lee's got something special going there, but they are on the road in a hostile environment in Austin, Texas. And Arch is he playing this weekend? He was in
right. He's in concussion protocol. You're right.
He is concussion protocol.
He could be out, yeah.
Texas is still favored. So as far as Texas having a chance to go to the college football playoff, as long as they keep winning, they're going to have a chance to get there. I think their defense keeps them in the game. They have one of the top defenses in the country. Arch Manning is another DJ Lagway. I had high expectations for him. The country had high expectations for him, and he's underperformed. And it could just be a young guy who's never got a lot of time under center, and defense is keying on him and making him difficult for his reads in the backfield. And he's got to grow up and learn and adjusting it better, which I think he can do. I think he has the
he's only a redshirt sophomore.
He's got the ability to be a Heisman type in an NFL quarterback, but he's not right now. He's got a lot of growing up to do, I think. So we'll see. The jury's out on Arch.
The other topic going around is the SEC, and certain writers are saying they possibly made a mistake expanding and adding so many teams because they're beating up on each other. They're so talented that you're seeing 2 and 3 loss teams. And, the commissioner, Greg Sankey, had hoped to get 5 teams in the playoffs. Do you think, with Ole Miss, with Vanderbilt, obviously, and with some of the other teams, do you think they have a chance to get 5 teams, or do you think 3 or 4 are more likely?
I think 3 is realistic. You're probably going to have the Florida, or Alabama. Looks like they're playing the best football in the conference, right?
They've turned it around.
Georgia's right behind them. So after that, you have Ole Miss and then Vanderbilt.
Right.
That wouldn't shock me if somehow 4 teams found their way in, but I feel like they're just going to cannibalize each other. And even Tennessee's got an outside shot. Yeah. They are all going to have to play each other, and there's a conference championship game, so there's going to be playoff elimination games almost every week in the SEC. So, I believe the Texas Vanderbilt game this weekend is an absolute elimination game. One of those teams is going to win and be right in the mix, and the loser is out.
And then turning to the Big Ten, obviously the surprise has been Indiana. And Indiana just locked up their coach with a $98 million contract. I think they gave him a 10-year extension. because they don't want their coaches to be poached. And this is a year already. The most coaches have been fired before November. We're looking at a possibility of 30 new openings. I don't know that there's 30 qualified candidates to fill those jobs, but if you had to say with the Big Ten, the SEC, is the SEC above and beyond a better conference? Do you think they're comparable? Or what are your thoughts on the Big Ten?
Well, the Big Ten's kind of a different animal than the SEC. Yeah. They recruit from different areas for the most part. I mean, they always have been. It's now not in this day and age, everything is getting more acclimated. But like, you know, Penn State is maybe the second or third biggest job in you know, the Big Ten. LSU is probably the second or third behind Alabama and Georgia, right? From a facility standpoint, from a money standpoint.
Correct.
I think LSU is a much more attractive job than Penn State. So,
yes.
And to put it in that kind of perspective, I think you have a way better chance with the money, with the facilities, with everything at LSU to win a national championship, to get to a playoff at LSU. But contradictory, I mean, Penn State's been in the playoff with James Franklin last year. So
that's what I couldn't believe. He made the national semifinals, and a 3-game losing streak gets him fired. Like, I think if you go that far, you know, you make the playoffs, you go far. I mean, you should get a mulligan for 1 year. I mean, if you have a rough few games, you should get a mulligan. You shouldn't lose your job.
There's got to be something else going on there. There's got to be some. There's a lot of articles and podcasters and people talking about the general. Something was off there.
The morale, absolutely. Yeah, that was true. That was mentioned several times. If you're looking anywhere else, the ACC, Georgia Tech has been a big surprise. I don't think they're on the level of anyone.
They're last year's SMU. They might only lose a game and then get blown out in the playoffs. They're not. No.
And then obviously the other question is Clemson. Do you think Clemson will be able to turn things around, get a winning streak going, and climb their way into the playoffs, or do you think they just have too many losses?
No, they're done.
They're done. It's too significant.
Quarterback's been injured. Yeah, no, there's too much going on there. I don't even think Dabo Swinney lasts there much longer. I think just out of pure.
I think he'd be the next one, right?
I think I don't think they're going to fire him during the season.
Right.
I think there's his tenure has been filled with too much success. I think they owe it to him to let him finish out a season. But I don't think either side of that. I don't think Dabo Swinney really wants to be at Clemson anymore. I don't think Clemson really wants Dabo Swinney there anymore. I think he'll finish out the season, and he may not be back. And he may be one that gets hired. I think Dabo's got to take a look in the mirror, though, and decide if he wants to go the route of Nick Saban, or if he wants to embrace this new era of college football and embrace NIL and embrace the transfer portal and hit that hard. Because if he's going to get another job at a big-time program and compete for national championship and playoffs, he's got to do that.
He's got to adapt. Your friend Joe DePiece also wanted to know your thoughts on your school, Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman, he started things off a little bit slow. They had a tough loss against A&M, but Notre Dame is still on pace to have a very good year. They still are on pace to possibly get one of the playoff spots. They have a fairly easy schedule going forward. Do you see them making the playoffs? And do you think Marcus Freeman is the guy?
So we've talked a little bit about losing 2 or 3 games in a row or a really bad loss. Notre Dame can be looked at as the opposite. I mean, last year they lost to Northern Illinois.
Yes.
There couldn't have been a worse loss, right?
Yeah.
And because of the atmosphere at the University of Notre Dame, because of Marcus Freeman and what he's brought in there,
They
and
love him.
the attitude that they turned it around, and they got better every single week, and they played their best football in the playoff, and they beat Georgia, and they beat Penn State, and they closed the gap on an extremely talented Ohio State to one touchdown in the national championship game. And he started this season losing 2 in a row, and now look where they are now. I think they're in the driver's seat. They went out. They're going to be in the playoff. I've watched them play almost every weekend, and they are one of the best 12 right now teams in the country on offense and defense.
I agree with that.
They got a couple. Listen, I know that their schedule was loaded heavy in the front and it looked easy in the back. Navy's ranked.
Navy undefeated, right?
And Pittsburgh's, I think, the one-loss team, and they're playing really good football. So, do they take care of Boston College and Syracuse? Yeah. They got to be careful not to slip up against Navy or Pittsburgh. I think they got Stanford left too, who they should blow out. But if what Freeman's done the last 2 years is any kind of path for what they're going to do this year, get better every week, and kind of like talk about in baseball, you want to be playing your best baseball when the playoffs hit. That's what Notre Dame's done the last 2 years. So I think they can be a really dangerous team. I don't think they could beat Ohio State. I think they.
You think Ohio State's that good?
They're like an NFL roster, man. Listen,
yeah.
Indiana. I want to give Indiana didn't deserve the stripes they got last year. They're very good this year, but I think Notre Dame right now, from the body of work that we've seen, and Texas A&M's still really rolling. They play any team in the top 10 at a neutral site right now. Ohio State's the only team that's favored to beat Notre Dame. That's
right. I believe that. Do you think right now Indiana is deserving of the number 2 ranking in the country?
Sure. They have one of the best road wins at Oregon.
Yeah.
And they didn't just do it. They beat the teams they're supposed to beat by 50 or 40. They do it.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. They have for sure.
They've been really impressive.
We'll give you a couple picks here. Vanderbilt, number 9 versus 20, Texas, with or without Arch Manning. Texas is still a 2.5-point favorite, which is kind of surprising to me. I think that could put a little chip on Vanderbilt's shoulders. Who do you like in that one at Texas?
I don't think Pavia's played against a defense as good as Texas yet. However, he's just shown out every time I've watched him. And every time I've doubted him, he's proved me wrong. So I'm gonna say Vanderbilt. I like Vanderbilt to go into Texas, and just the team's got too much going for them. I just feel like they got a ton of momentum. It's gonna be tough because Austin is a tough place to play and win. If Pavio tries to play a little bit of a Superman ball and turn the ball over a couple times, that's going to be what kills him. But if he can keep it within himself and make those big plays with his feet and an arm, I like Vandy.
Yeah, and I watch him. I was surprised at how small he is. He really looks short out there, but he's a tremendous athlete and he's making plays. We have number 18, Oklahoma, at number 14, Tennessee. Tennessee is minus 3.5. Who do you like in that one?
I'm going to go with Tennessee. I don't like Oklahoma's last few performances.
I haven't liked them either, yeah.
The material looked great the first 4 or 5 games of the year, their transfer quarterback. But Tennessee, I think, has a better body of work. And I'm just going to go with Heupel in Tennessee and Joey Aguilar. They've been playing more consistent football.
This is an interesting one. The Big 12, number 24, Utah is playing Cincinnati, and Utah is an 8.5-point favorite. Who do you like in that one?
If I'm going to be totally honest with you, I haven't seen Cincinnati play one game this year.
I haven't seen him either. I was surprised with their ranking.
Radar. I like Utah. I like their coach. They always play smash mouth football.
They do.
Hard-nosed football. if you're going to put me on and make me make a pick, I guess I'll say Utah, but I really haven't watched many of those games.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Utah as well. They're too physical. The so quote unquote upset pick of the week. USC is playing at Nebraska. USC is a -6.5. Nebraska has had the best year that they've had in several. With new coach Matt Rule, he's come in and changed the culture there, doing a much better job. Do you think there's any chance of Nebraska pulling out the victory?
I mean, there's a chance, of course.
Yeah.
I've watched USC play a couple times this year, and they're getting close to that old USC with Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart, just tons of talent all over the field, being one of those top tier programs. They got that talent on offense again. They still gotta make the defense match the offense. I like USC.
Yeah.
I say that with a caveat that I think that both of these guys, Lincoln Riley and Matt Rule, are great coaches. I think these guys are both one end of the season away from being on the hot seat. If they don't,
they really are.
Both of these guys need to finish the season strong, and or else next year they're going to be one of the ones we're talking about possibly losing their job.
All right, and the last one I'll give you is your favorite, Georgia. Number 5 ranked Georgia at Florida, and Georgia is -7.5. Do you think Florida can come out and perform some magic, or perform, like you said, to their capability?
So the game's in Jacksonville at Jaguar Stadium.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Florida Georgia is always at the neutral site at Jaguar Stadium in Jacksonville, kind of halfway in between Athens and Gainesville. 7.5, I think, is a little bit too much. I think Florida plays passionately.
I think they'll play inspired as well.
I think they play for each other. I think they have the talent to win the game. I think that, unfortunately, losing kind of has a gravitational pull to it.
It does.
So does winning. And right now, Florida is a losing program, and Georgia's a winning program. And Georgia knows how to find a way to win a tough, tight game.
Kirby Smart.
And a team like Florida, unfortunately, under the Billy Napier regime, has found a way to play really, really hard and do some really, really good things, and then find a way to lose those games. I don't see that changing. I think Georgia wins. I think it's a lot closer than 7.5. I think Georgia maybe kicks a field goal to win, or Florida might backdoor a touchdown to make it a 3-point game. I think Georgia by 3.
And that would mean Florida covers at least. The last question would be your thoughts on William Belichick as the coach at North Carolina. They're trying to frame things as it's getting better, because they lost to Virginia by 1 point. He goes for 2 and loses. I think they played Cal or Stanford tough. And they say they're right there. This is just the growing pains year, and he'll turn things around next year. Bill Belichick, do you think he belongs in college football?
I think Bill Belichick belongs, given an opportunity, whatever. I mean, he's proven to be one of the greatest coaches of all time. Here's the thing. I mean, this is an experiment.
Yeah, pretty much.
College football is not the NFL. The NFL is not college football. It's why Tim Tebow was the greatest college football player ever, and I think he still should have got more of a shot. But
I agree with you.
He didn't transfer to the NFL, and that happens to hundreds of players. So this is a different game that Bill Belichick is coaching. Not only is it a different game, it's a game that's been flipped upside down on its head the last 2 or 3 years with everything we've already talked about. So does he have the ability at his age, with his experience, to take a step back, bring people around him to embrace this new culture, and we know he can coach. We know he can coach football, right? But it's going to be as if he can embrace this new culture, if he can bring the right people around him. People, I mean, you would think that he'd be able to recruit. If not, go get a recruiter. I mean, he's probably the greatest football coach of all time, right?
Ever, yeah. He's going to get you to the NFL.
Bill Belichick, right?
Yeah.
Vince Lombardi or Bill Belichick.
Hands down.
So he's. I think he needs to get it, a little bit more time. It's an experiment.
The last question you've gotten. Your thoughts on the NBA gambling scandal? Do you think this is the tip of the iceberg? Do you think, they've made betting legal for college athletes? College athletes can bet on pro sports, and gambling is obviously legal in this country now. DraftKings, and there's many sites to do it on. But Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, the guys that got caught, it's kind of surprising, and it seemed like a sophisticated operation. But it always, why is it always the NBA? You don't hear about any other leagues. It's always the NBA that's doing it. Tanking's involved. Players sitting out is involved. But your thoughts on the gambling situation and how it will affect the league?
I don't think we have anywhere near the information that's going to come out on this.
We see the report.
There's no chance that it's only going on in the NBA. No, there's no chance.
No, there's too much money at stake.
The mafia is involved, right? I mean, from what we're being told, so they're not going to target the NBA. They're going to target every professional athlete who may have a gambling problem, gets into a bookie too deep, or however they suck these guys in and get them, get their hooks in them. It's happening in every league. It's going to be. You could look at one or two ways. It's going to get really, really bad.
Yeah.
And force people away from watching the sport, or it's going to clean up the sport. Because I think some people who are, have their, tin hats and are a little skeptical about watching a play and being like, well, personally, I think I see it more in the NFL than the NBA. I see stuff and I go, what? Wait a minute.
What's going on?
Happens there? I'm not going to get into specifics. It happens with some of my favorite teams and some of the biggest stars on my favorite teams. Some of them wear that number right back there.
Yeah.
About 2.5 hours down the road. And what the hell did he just do? Why did he just do that? And I love him and I cheer for him.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going on. It's got to be going on everywhere. And I'm just kidding about Josh Allen.
No, I know. I know.
But you can watch a game and be like, what the hell were they doing there? And you know what? We've played sports and we've done bonehead things because you're not comfortable in the heat of the moment. You make a mistake. How do you decipher that from, well, they got evidence. That's how you decipher it. The player prop bets is going to be, that's the thing that really exposed it, because when somebody's betting heavy on a player prop bet,
that gives it away. That gives it away.
So we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, I enjoy watching all sports. I enjoy, once in a while sprinkling a little bit of money on a game if I'm confident, but it will take some of that reality out of it if this gets deeper and deeper, which I think it will.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on and giving us your insight into college football. It is the wild, wild west, and we're hoping for the best going forward with the last 6 weeks, I believe. We're going to see what happens with the playoffs. We're going to see what happens with the SEC. We're going to see what happens with more coaches getting fired. But as always, we appreciate your time and your insight. And please say hi to your lovely wife, your dogs, and your son. I
got one question that came through for you.
Oh God.
The A, B, or C. What is Steve wearing on the bottom half? Boxer shorts, or sweatpants?
Shorts, always shorts.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes. Shorts with no underwear. Just so they know.
We didn't need TMI.
That's okay. They get that on the show. They know what they're getting. So, yeah, that's what they get. So
All right. We didn't know if you're pulling one of those shirt and tie in the top, and then you get up and leave in your boxer shorts while the camera.
yeah, no, I got shorts on. Nothing
All right.
else though.
Sounds
But
good.
thank you for coming on. We appreciate it, and hopefully we can talk with you again soon.
I don't see why not.
All right. Well, you take care, and again, tell your wife and the dogs I said hi, and the kid.
All right. Give Archie a kiss for me.
I will. Take care.
Punching.
All right. And we're back. That's Dominic Tripp, college football expert, college football aficionado. And, he's giving his views on what's going on. And it's crazy. It's a crazy world. Crazy what's going on in the SEC. Crazy what's going on with coaches being fired. Crazy what's going on at UConn, as I ranted the other night about it. And it's just frustrating and it's disappointing. The World Series is going on, and I don't think it's making the headlines that it normally should or deserves, obviously, because of all the shenanigans we are seeing. But it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. As far as the NFL goes, we have a big week. Again, the Dallas Cowboys, they are one of a kind. I don't know how Jerry Jones, he owns the team, so he can do what he wants and remains in charge. But there's a lot going on. Drake May having an incredible year for the Patriots and could, in fact, be a MVP candidate. I am thrilled for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones went through pure hell with the Giants, and I am happy that he's resurrecting his career with Indianapolis. Now it is the AFC South, which isn't the toughest division, but he's winning and he's playing well. He's playing the best he's ever played. And I'm just happy he's having success because he has just been through the ringer. Carson Wentz is going to be out. They signed him at the beginning of the year, basically off the couch. He played well for a few games, but then the proverbial wheels came off. The Vikings lost to the Chargers, and he was sacked 5 times. And he took a big hit on his shoulder, his left shoulder. And he was already wearing a harness. And he knew when he took that hit that it was going to be bad. So Wentz was playing with a torn labrum, a fractured socket caused by a dislocation he suffered on October 5th against the Browns. He had said Thursday night he could still function well enough to help the team. And, Coach Kevin O'Connell said that Wentz told him repeatedly he could continue playing. And, I get it. Wentz has been on 45 different teams, and he wants every opportunity to play. He wants every rep. He wants to have success in the league, and I'm sure he didn't want to come out. So as long as Wentz stayed in the game, J.J. McCarthy was ineligible to play because he was the emergency third quarterback. And in his 6th week of recovery from a high ankle sprain, McCarthy could only play if Wentz was out and number 2 quarterback Max Bromser was ruled out by medical officials. So the other issue, obviously, was the offensive line. Both of their tackles were sidelined with knee injuries, and they were using a guard at center. And, you know, they had an undrafted rookie in there. So it's just it's rough. You know, the Vikings had so much talent, and I'm still on the Sam Darnold train. I still believe that they should have re-signed him. And I think with Sam Darnold, especially with the receivers Minnesota has, they would be the team to beat. J.J. McCarthy, we still don't know. He's going to start Sunday against the Lions. Not an easy team to start against. The backup, Bromser, he was signed in May, and he's an undrafted rookie free agent, and he's going to be the backup. And it's funny because together they have thrown a total of 49 NFL passes and played 122 regular season snaps. McCarthy was the 10th pick in the 2025 draft. He has sat out 23 of possible 25 games in his NFL career because of the torn meniscus, which cost him his rookie year, and his ankle injury, which has sidelined him this year. The Vikings will probably sign a third quarterback to round out the depth chart because Carson Wentz is going to be on IR. I don't know who that will be or who's available because Joe Flacco is already on the Bengals. Good for the Jets for getting their win, but God, Joe Flacco played well, man. When you score 38 points, you should win the game. But the question is going to be with McCarthy, you know. Is he going to demonstrate enough development to enter 2026 as the Vikings' unquestioned starter? Or will they find a veteran to compete with him like the Colts did, you know, bringing in Daniel Jones with, first round pick Anthony Richardson, who obviously seems to be a bust at this point. Daniel Jones has really had an MVP-like performance. And again, it's another dagger to the Vikings who have second-guessed their decision to turn the keys over to McCarthy. They had Daniel Jones, you know, after the Giants cut him, they picked him up and they let him go. And then Sam Darnold, another one, MVP-like season with Seattle. Vikings let him go. They could have used the franchise tag to keep him, and they didn't. And then you can't ignore Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to the Vikings. I believe the Vikings were his first choice. And they passed on him. So, you know, Frank Cristiano always talks about the GMs in the front office, the scouts not knowing what the hell they're doing. Is what is going on? What is going on? They're upstairs making noise. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. Oh, this is interesting. Why some NFL QBs use play sheet wristbands and others don't. I didn't even know that. So Joe Flacco received the call over his headset. He flipped over his wristband and glanced down as the players gathered in the huddle. Flacco obviously was traded 9 days earlier. He's heard 1,000 calls over his 18-year career. But, every team runs the same concepts. They just have different verbiage for the plays, verbiage or numbers. So the play sheet on his wrist was crucial. And he lofted an 8-yard touchdown. It was the first of his 3 touchdown passes that led them to the 33-31 Week 7 victory. Flacco is one of 20 current starting quarterbacks wear wristband play sheets. And quarterbacks and coaches from 18 teams were asked about the device's pros and cons. I'm surprised by this because, you have the headset. You just call it playing with the headset. Now, obviously, you can call, wristband play 10, and they look down there and call it. But other signal callers like Dak Prescott, he doesn't use one because he values eye contact with his teammates while calling a play. So Flacco said, when I first started using a wristband, there's a piece of it that was harder because instead of saying the call and picturing it as you're saying it, you're just reading the words. And then you kind of go back and think, what the hell did I just say? I didn't even know this. The first wristband was worn in 1965 by Tom Matt, a running back turned emergency quarterback for the Baltimore Colts. After injuries to Johnny Unitas and backup Gary Cuzio decimated the Colts quarterback room, Don Shula tabbed Matt to run the offense. Matt played quarterback at Ohio State, never in the NFL. So Shula sent his third-string quarterback into the game against the Rams with the simplified version of the offense written on a card covered by a plastic wristband. And the Colts ended up winning 20-17. Shula's innovation sparked a trend. Some of the game's greatest quarterbacks, from Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes, have worn wristbands so they can access playbooks in games and confirm the call they're receiving from the sideline. These condensed call sheets are jam-packed with information. Wow. Menus of base runs, third down plays, drop back passes, MPV. Yeah, I know all that. They're loaded on the cards. Like, I know that now, we had wristbands when I was in high school. It would just be one where it would have the plays. Now they have wristbands you can flip through, so I can see why they put so much on it. An example, the shorthand version of 0 out slot 62 F Slim Z Montana Flare would read 38 on the wristband Brady used at his time with the New England Patriots. The decision to wear a wristband is often a joint one because, between the play caller and the quarterback. Some offenses mandate every quarterback wear a wristband from the starter to the practice squad, but others go by the preference. That's interesting. So Bengals coach Zach Taylor, he will look down at his play sheet and choose a play at random. He recited a concoction of words, letters, and numbers that establish the formation, the protection, and the routes. It took Taylor 3 seconds. I have to call that, and then the quarterback has to call it. or I can just say 10, cut 4 seconds out of the play calling. I mean, that's the advantage of it, and that's why we did it, because, you call the number, and then the quarterback can call the play in the huddle. But I'm mystified by this because, like it says, every NFL quarterback's helmet is wired with a speaker so he can hear the call delivered from the coach. And who is calling plays, either it's from the sideline or from the coach's box. I didn't know this, after 15 seconds, the speaker in the quarterback's helmet shuts off. I thought it was later than that. Wonky communication and human error, getting the call in too late to technology issues can leave a quarterback on his own to diagnose what he sees and base the play he relays to the rest of the offense on what he thought he heard in the helmet. That's funny. I think a lot of people being in the NFL, it's Bluetooth, clear audio, like you're talking on your phone. This says Bengals quarterback coach JT Barrett. That's far from it. It's like a walkie-talkie. It's muffled. So that's why quarterbacks from Lamar Jackson to Josh Allen to Justin Herbert opt to wear wristbands. The extra seconds they are afforded at the line of scrimmage allow them to make sure they have the right play dialed up. So that's interesting to see. All right. I'm just going to go off on UConn for a little bit. UConn is playing UAB this week, and, we're going up for it. Very excited, but I want to see us come back. I want to see us rebound. I want to see us play hard, and we have done that typically after losses. We come out with a vengeance. Coach Moore will have the guys firing on all cylinders. My issue, again, put the players in position to succeed. Don't run outside zone 45 times. Well, run the ball, because we didn't run it. We're not going to throw it 48 times and have success. Have a balanced offense, please. Let's get our defense on the same page, making tackles, being physical up front, and life will be good for all of us. So, anything else, really? Well, the WNBA lockout, we talked with Maria Conlon, and I think that it is going to go on for quite a while. Dom's picks for Moneyline, I think we're on point. The game that I had wanted to pick was Army and Air Force. That was going to be my lock. Army plays Air Force Saturday at noon. And Air Force is -1.5. I am going with the mighty Army Black Knights. I don't think they're cadets anymore. The battle for the group of 5 supremacy, Navy, North Texas. Since Memphis lost, Navy is in the mix. North Texas may still be in the mix for the AAC. And North Texas is favored by 6.5. I'm going with Navy on that one. So I'm just going to pick some of the strange games. East Carolina at Temple. East Carolina is -4.5. I'm going with Temple. Let's go Temple. Let's see what else is weird. Delaware at Liberty. I am going with Delaware. Liberty is -3.5. Delaware is my squad because they kicked the crap out of the Huskies. Old Dominion at University of Louisiana Monroe. ODU is a 16.5 point favorite. I would take them. Louisiana, South Alabama. I'm taking South Alabama. They're -4.5. Virginia is at Cal. Virginia's -4.5. I'm taking them. Arkansas and Mississippi State. I think Arkansas is going to get the win. They're minus 4.5, but they've lost some close games of late. I'd love to see Bobby Petrino get the win because he's such a great man, just a good, high character, good guy. So he deserves it. Oklahoma State at Kansas. Kansas is 24.5 point favorite. Oklahoma State really has fallen into the doldrums, the seventh circle of hell. I'm going with Kansas. Western and Central Michigan. Mac Nation. I love it. Let's go with Central. Central is plus 5.5. I'm taking them. South Carolina and Ole Miss, that's an interesting one. Ole Miss is favored by 12.5. South Carolina, they have been a disappointment. I think they're going to cover. I'm going with South Carolina. Wyoming at San Diego State. Love it. Let's do it. San Diego State's minus 10.5. I'm going with Wyoming. I'm going Brokeback Mountain style. That's how I like it, baby. Brokeback Mountain style. Let's go to Wyoming. Kentucky and Auburn. Coaches who may be fired depending on the outcome of this game. Auburn is favored by 10.5. I'm going with Auburn. NC State at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech at NC State. Georgia Tech's only minus 5.5. I'm going to take NC State. And then the last game I'm going to pick, UNC versus North Carolina versus the Cuse. North Carolina versus Syracuse. Syracuse is minus 2.5, which is shocking. After North Carolina played Virginia tight, I'd love to see Bill Belichick come up and beat Syracuse. So, and then number 1, Ohio State is playing Penn State. Ohio State's minus 20.5. Ohio State's going to win. So, all right. This has been Moneyline, the best sports talk show, 97.9 Unity Radio. I'm Steve Cully, best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them right back. Dominic.